Matthew Bryza is a former American diplomat and he has held many positions, including US Ambassador to Azerbaijan, and he joins us now live from Istanbul. Matthew, welcome to the London News Hour. So we've just been discussing the hunger crisis gripping Palestinians, and I just want to get your view on the tone and substance coming out of Israel's leaders lately. There's been condemnation, as I'm sure you know, from the EU, France and also the UK towards a senior Israeli minister for suggesting that it might be, quote, justified and moral to starve people in Gaza.
Yeah, thanks, Maria. I'm very happy to see you again and be with you, but the circumstances are terrible. And that statement by Finance Minister Smotrich is outrageous. And it was also the German ambassador to Israel who also condemned that statement. I hope the U.S. will as well. I mean, that is a war crime. Starvation, using starvation to pursue political objectives is a war crime. And I don't know if the people of Israel are getting this reporting. I know there's been great censorship, but it seems impossible for me to believe that they would stand for this. At least the majority would. It is outrageous. And I hope we hear the U.S. administration, President Biden and Secretary of State Blinken, condemn these statements, or this statement, even as they work so hard toward a ceasefire and to avert a regional war that could draw the U.S. in with Iran and Hezbollah, et cetera.
That's a good point you make there. If the Israeli public are getting the same images that we're showing, I mean, there was just a report right now where we had to give a warning to our viewers of just how disturbing some of the images could be for them. On the point also of disturbing images, Israel's Channel 12, well, it did actually broadcast security camera footage reportedly showing the sexual assault of a Palestinian detainee from Gaza at a military detention camp. I don't know what you think of this.
Obviously, it couldn't be there couldn't be a more horrendous thing to happen, and there have been repeated reports of sexual abuse of women in detention. But maybe that's a sparkling of hope that Channel 12 at least is able to get through to the people of Israel. And of course, anyone in Israel, which is a free democratic society, has access to our broadcast right now and any other credible broadcast via the internet. But yeah, let's hope the tide will turn. I fear, like so many other people, that Prime Minister Netanyahu has decided he needs to prolong the war to survive politically, whether it be his government coalition surviving or himself avoiding prosecution. So hopefully the tide will turn. But at what unbelievable cost?
Absolutely. Matthew, you are a diplomat and former American diplomat. And this point now about Israel revoking the diplomatic status of 8 Norwegian diplomats serving in the occupied territories. Just where does this leave the other countries that may be considering backing the ICC case against Israel? Because I understand that is the reason why their diplomatic status was revoked.
I think that they shouldn't care. It's a violation of all the principles that countries like Norway or United States stand for in terms of, freedom of speech to be critical of Israel. And allegedly, or what I understand is that the diplomatic accreditation of those Norwegian diplomats was revoked by Israel because they were taking public stances and private stances that Israel disagreed with. But diplomats, obviously, I know, have the duty to pursue their country's foreign policy interests as defined by their elected leaders. And so it seems like it's an overreach to revoke the diplomatic accreditation of these diplomats. What it means, again, for the others is, it could be that Israel is now getting into a defensive crouch. It may be afraid that its most important friend and ally, the United States, is not going to stand equivocally by it. There are all sorts of media reports coming out of Washington now saying that when Netanyahu met Biden in Washington just recently, Biden was pushing so hard for a ceasefire that he raised his voice, so was shouting at Netanyahu. And then after that meeting, just within a week, those assassinations happened by Israel in both Beirut and in Tehran. And I understand that President Biden is absolutely furious. So I think we're seeing signs that maybe the government in Jerusalem is frightened that it may be losing its most important ally, and maybe lashing out and trying to show everybody, Washington included, that if the support is not there, Israel is ready to take drastic measures, like essentially expelling those Norwegian diplomats.
Matthew, fantastic to get your analysis here on the TRT World's News Hour. Thank you so much, Matthew Bryza. Really appreciate your time and insights.